So this very afternoon, I'm invited by your executives, and I must say that this is a very nice initiative. It is a great one. So if you happen to be a beneficiary of the Grnma in Ekumfi, you should count yourself blessed and fortunate. Many a times, because we don't know the rules of the game or we don't really understand a few things that we ought to know, what happens is we go into the system blind, and then the unfortunate sometimes happen. But as we all know, ignorance has never and will ever be an excuse when it comes to legalities. So without wasting much of our time, my humble self, I'll be taking all of us through the Ghana Health Service study leave and a few things we ought to know. So before we now even tackle the issue about study leave, a couple of times being a practitioner myself, a few staff or officers who approach you, and then they will go like, HR, me pese me go school. For those of us who don't understand, the person is just saying, HR, I also want to gain the opportunity to further my studies this year or next year. And typical of me, the question I'm going to ask you back is, who do you see yourself retiring at age 60? Because the career is like a ladder. It has a starting point when you gain your appointment letter into the service. And hopefully someday, according to our Pensions Act, you would have to end your service compulsorily at the age of 60. So when I ask these questions, what I am trying to ascertain is that, do you really have a career plan? Or is it because your friends are saying it is time to apply, I'm applying? You ought to have a career plan, because just like your career has begun in the service, someday you would have to bring it to an end. But then when you know the end from the beginning, it is very easy for you to reach your destination. I don't know if I am making some sense with this analogy. Am I?
Yes,
So
please,
if you know that I am going to leave the service as a DCNO, if I'm going to leave the service as a CNMO, if I'm going to... Hello? Please, I will urge all of us to try our possible best and mute our microphones so that the rest of us can hear me loud and audibly. You ought to have a career plan, because it is a plan that will guide you throughout your journey or your career journey within and outside the Ghana Health Service. So a career plan refers to a process which an individual becomes more aware of his or her: one, your interests; two, your motivations; and then three, your needs. Now, when we say interest, what are your interests? Is it that you want to become a CEO? Is it that you want to be a founder? You want to be an owner? You want to be a journalist? You want to be a nurse specialist? On and on and on and on. You can add on to the list. But then, what is motivating you to choose to become the nurse specialist? What is motivating you to become the public health officer? What is motivating you to become the ophthalmic nurse, the oncology? What is really behind your motive? This answered with a why. Is it because you believe it is your destiny or purpose? Is it the joy of the job? Is it the financial freedom that this desired journey or occupational choice will bring to you? Or it is the prestige that today, by God's grace, I'm also a DCNO, or formerly the DDNS, because even now that is DCNO, we still like the DDNS because it used to carry a lot of power. DD. Now that you've identified your why, your next thing will become the needs. And the needs answers the question of the how. How am I going to get there? Is it going to take some more education? Is it going to take some trainings? Do I need a mentor? Would I have to travel outside my domain? Because some educational qualifications or academic studies would have to take you outside your domain. So some courses may not be offered in the central region. Some may not be offered in Accra or from wherever you are listening. Some may not even be offered in Ghana and it has to be outside. So when you know the how much money will this cost me? Because education doesn't come cheap. So these are some of the things you would have to plan and consider before you do what? You move in to say, I want to do program A, program B, or program C. Because if we are all coming from Ekumfi going to Accra, what we are going to do is we will not pick any car heading towards Cape Coast. True or false?
True.
Hello, is somebody? Exactly. Because the moment you pick a car that is going to Cape Coast, it means that your destination, which is Accra or Kaneshi, is not going to be what? Fruitful. True or false?
True.
So my aim this afternoon is to help us and guide us so that we know that our ladder has been leaned across where we want to be, so that we don't choose A or B program and it is contrary or very opposite to where we want to find ourselves someday. So I'm saying that a career plan must be deliberate. It must also be strategic and then continuous, because life changes and life happens. So what are the few factors you would have to consider when you are planning your career? You have to look at, what is my purpose as a person? And this may not come in handy, but when you say, oh, I'm going to pursue BSc nursing, general nursing to be specific, as a senior enrolled nurse, and then you pay your fees, you start the program, a week or your purpose, it is likely for you to quit. Second thing we can look at is a career goal. So do you have a career goal that says that once I've been in the service on my 4th year, I would have to apply for this program. And after I'm done, this is what I'm going to do. And this is what I'm going to do. If you have a goal, it guides you. You don't just join the bandwagon. And when they say they are going for midwifery, you also jump in. So it is very important that you have a career goal. Then you also have to take cognizance of your age. We are going to find out that at a particular age in the service, it is very hard for you to secure a steady leave provisional approval. Now you have to look at your health. With every occupation comes with its own occupational hazards. So am I physically fit? Am I mentally fit to really pursue this occupation or this particular grade that I am eyeing for? Because perioperative nurses, I'm told, and I've seen, I've observed, that they have to stand on their feet for very long hours. So maybe perhaps you are not so able in that sense. You have a spinal issues, you have what's not issues that may affect that choice. You don't go ahead and choose it, because at the end of the day, when you are done with the school, the service expects you to do what? Practice with that qualification. And you can't say that because of X and Y now, although they have spent money sponsoring your tuition by paying your salary throughout a year, 2 and 3, you come back and say, I am not what going to upgrade or convert myself in the qualification I've obtained and do my duties as such. The next thing you have to look at is, what qualification must I obtain? Some of us will be applying for all sorts of programs, but then we haven't found out from the schools that I am an enrolled nurse and I have a hack or a knack and I want to do physician assistantship. Would you admit me with my hack or knack, or must I use my WASI or the SSC? These are inquiries you need to make from your desired school of choice. Because if you don't do that and you just buy your forms blindly, or you just select the program now, you may obtain the provisional approval, but when it is time for you to gain admission, the school will now deny you of the admission. And every provisional study leave obtained, you cannot defer. So make sure you know you have the requisite qualification in order to earn you an admission into your desired school for the program of choice, even before you hop onto the system to choose a program. Now, finances. Do you have the financial muscle? Yes, salaries are going to be paid. But then, do you really have the money that it takes to pay your fees, to pay the what's not, the practicals, and all that financial obligations you ought to meet? Knowledge, skills, and abilities. I would even add attitude in this regard. Every job, say if I'm a community health nurse, there is a particular kind of knowledge, skills, and abilities and attitude I might exhibit. But that is different from somebody who is a health promotion officer. It is different from somebody who is a nutritionist, different from somebody who is an accountant, different from somebody who is a perioperative nurse. So do you have some knowledge? Do you have some skills? Do you have the ability? Do you have the attitude? So if you really don't like to talk much, then it means that health promotion, health educator, these are not programs that is what will be best suitable for your personality or your being as a person. Now let's look at network. Do you know enough people already in the industry who can give you insight and say, my friend, this physician assistantship you want to choose, it is not as juicy or green on the other side as you see it. I would rather advise you to do what? To choose X or to choose Y. Because sometimes when we are on the outside, we feel like the pastures are more greener on the other side. But then if you don't have anybody who is already in that role to tell you some of their challenges and issues, you will end up throwing away your diamonds and then picking what? Stones. The next one is industry knowledge. So with the Ghana Health Service, how are they treating category these people? How are they treating these people? What are the disadvantages? What are the advantages? And this time I'll ask you not to think just with the Ghana Health Service, but then to think as a health sector as a whole. What qualifications must I have? And if I have this qualification, how much will it earn me? What can it do for me? Laying much emphasis on our career plan, let's move into what we are set to do today. We are to know much about study leave. And this is the definition of study leave per the Ghana Health to an employee for the reason of undertaking an approved training program. So the emphasis is on leave of absence granted with. We have the study leave with pay, which means that while you pursue your program, the government or the service is going to keep on giving you salaries. You are going to be paid salaries while you pursue your further studies. And then we have the study leave without pay, where you'll be pursuing your program, but then you are not going to receive any salaries from your employer, which is the Ghana Health Service. However, upon completion of your program, you tender in your certificate and you are being upgraded or converted per the program you pursued, and then your salaries can begin to be paid back to you. Now let's look at a few study leave guidelines per the policy. It says that an employee who is not eligible for study leave with or without pay may have to resign from the service if he or she wants to pursue any further studies, provided he or she is not under bond. So this speaks to maybe you just joined the service, you've served 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. It is your first time to enjoy a study leave. And then you are also not under any bond. Now, what the policy is saying that some of you may want to. Hello, Gloria. Can you please mute your microphone for us? Thank you. So if you are not eligible, so some of us maybe just, this is our 3rd year and we may want to apply for certain programs. We go on the portal and we are told that you are not eligible. You've not served the minimum years required. It means that you can opt for what? A study leave without pay. And then some of us, the courses we want to do today, there are not even any established grades in the system. Somebody may want to do strategic communications or marketing. In the Ghana Health Service as we are today, we don't have job roles for such people. So it means that if you want to pursue those kind of programs that we don't have any vacancy or job establishments for, you would have to do it online. The next point is an employee shall not be entitled to steady leave with pay for more than 2 occasions, except with the explicit approval of the Director General. This is saying that once you join the service, from day 1 until a particular age, you are only entitled to do what? Pursue further studies or gain approval to further studies twice. So when you exhaust one, you have another chance to go for another study. And then when that is done, if you want to enjoy steady leave for the third time, you take over from what? The Director General. Madam Joyce, can you mute your microphone for us? Study leave requirements. What are the requirements per the policy? An employee may be eligible. All right, can I proceed? Are we all clear now?
Sure.
All right, so you would have to serve a minimum of 3 years to be eligible at all. And I always say that application is not approval. So in Ghana, we are told that once we are 18, we have the right to vote. But it is not by force or compulsory that you exercise your franchise. So 3 years in the service, you can go online and then try to apply. And then even with Mr. Gombian,
Yes,
even with the application, it doesn't mean that you are going to be granted the approval. So when you hop onto your portal now, you will realize that the kind of programs that you can pursue based on your current grade it has already been tailored. So maybe you have not served a number of years, and then you may want to pursue BSc nursing. When you click on it, you will now get a pop-up saying that you have not served what the minimum years required for that program.
Okay.
Second is an employee may be eligible for a second study leave after serving the required bond duration after the first study leave. So if you had the chance to pursue a diploma and degree program and then you are done, remember you have a bond to serve, and then we will go through to know the duration that you have to serve for a particular course of study and how long for the program. Employees working at stations regarded as deprived or hardship located shall serve 1 year less than normally required for steady leave with pay from the date of first appointment, reappointment, or return from steady leave with pay. Now, in Central Region, the deprived districts are Upper Dentra East, Upper Dentra West, Asen North, Asen South, and Chifuhiman Lower Dentra. So out of the 22 districts in Central Region, we only have 5 districts that are deemed to be deprived. And unfortunate for us in Ekumfi, it means that we are deprived per the standards. Employees above 50 years shall not qualify for steady leave with pay for a long course, which is any program that spans beyond 2 months or 1 academic year. However, consideration may be given to employees who have served for at least 4 continuous years in deprived or who have documentary evidence that they have distinguished themselves on the job. So it means that if we are in Ekumfi now, and then we have age 50 and beyond, we can't select or pursue a program, try, apply. Got so many criteria or 1 or 2 for the program, but this is the position of our policy pending against an employee applying for the steady leave. You see, when you are done filling your online, you would have to print out a form, sign, submit to your HR. Your director will also has a place to endorse and recommend you. There is a portion that will ask if there is any disciplinary action or proceedings pending against you. And if they take no, it means that although you were able to get, if they take yes, sorry, that there are disciplinary actions pending against you, although you were able to apply online, there is no way the committee that is recommending people or applicants is going to recommend you. Are we clear on that? Now, let's look at some study leave conditions. Study leave with pay awardees shall be obliged to serve the Ghana Health Service in a facility to be determined by the Regional Director of Health Services for a stipulated period as stated in the table below, upon completion of what? Their training program. So if I'm to pursue a program that is going to last for a year, maybe it's an MSc program or an MA program or an executive MBA that lasts for just 1 year, it means that I will be serving Ghana Health Service upon completion of my program for 2.5 years. 2 years, we serve 3.5 years. 3 years, we serve 4.5 years. 4 years, we serve 5.5 years. So it is the duration of your program plus 1.5 year. So let us take note of that. There will be no study leave with pay for courses for which Ghana Health Service has no establishment. As I mentioned earlier, if you want to study marketing, horticulture, strategic communications, and some other programs of study that we don't have any grade for in the Ghana Health Service, it means that you can't do it. You will not be granted with pay. However, you would now have to opt for the option of study leave without pay to pursue those programs. A course may be relevant for the career progression of the staff, but the absence of a vacancy within the establishment takes precedence in considering the grant of the study leave with pay. Very soon, like I spoke to your chairperson behind the scenes, that the quota is not yet in. We are told that it would be in, and very soon we will be asked to disseminate it. But then until then, let us be guided, because your choice must come from the quota that Central Regional Health Directorate has done has captured or has been able to put up. So please, I will caution all of us on this call not to go ahead and submit applications until we see the quota. Because whatever program you pick, if it's not in the quota, it means that you cannot be granted provisional study leave to pursue the program. An officer on study leave with pay shall not change his or her program of study unless there is a clearance from the approving authority. And in this case, the approving authority is way in headquarters, not at your facility, not your district director, not your HR, not your nurse manager. The approving authority is where? In headquarters. So if you ever want to change the course of your program, you chose BSc nursing. Now, for some reason, when you were granted provisional approval for BSc general nursing, you say, no, I rather want to do public health nursing. Don't go ahead, buy your forms and start your tuition. Because when you attach your admission letter to your bond form and submit for your final approval, it will not be granted. So please, if you ever want to change your program after you have gained provisional approval, contact your HR. He or she will guide you, and then you will know what to do. Applicants who commence the study leave without receiving feedback or response to the application shall be deemed to have vacated post after 10 working days. Then an embargo will be placed on your salary at the bank, and your names will subsequently be deleted from the payroll. So usually when we just secure provisional approval and we gain admission, we just leave without informing the HR, district director, medical superintendent, and our supervisors, because we feel our name has been captured in a document called a provisional approval. We just go ahead and then we leave for school. When the provisional list comes, God willing, when you read, you would now realize that you will need to secure admission from a school and then go also onto the portal, fill out some documents before you can go to school. So please, if you don't do this, don't go to school. Speak to your HR, get it done before you leave so that you don't end up in trouble. An employee shall be regarded as having vacated posts and his or her name deleted from the payroll if he or she fails to report to his or her head of BMC. And here, your BMC in Ekumfi is the District Director of Health Services. So you need to report to him or her when your study leave expires. If you don't do that and 10 working day elapses, that is vacation of post. Sometimes because the approval will come and it is stated in there that you will end your study leave on, say, October 2025. And then you were done with your school August 2025. Typical of us, we will say that 2 months, you made a better fee. You see, when you are done with your school, you are not done. You will be asked to provide certain documents for upgrading or conversion. And it is there and then that, you see, whatever act you committed, thinking it won't be of any consequences will catch up with you. Because when you are done with your school and then you graduate, if for nothing at all, you also have other colleagues who after your program will report for work. They may not be in Ekumfi, they may be elsewhere. And just like we as nurses as a profession have friends and colleagues elsewhere that we rely on for information, HRs, medical superintendents, medical directors, they also do same. So sometimes they will know that you are home, but they may not bother calling you to come to work until something like this happens, and then it becomes unfortunate. So please, as soon as you are done with your program, even if the duration is not, you come, because it helps your documentations, and then your upgrading or conversion comes on time or within time, and then you can enjoy the increment in your salary. Employee on study leave shall be required to produce certified academic reports every academic year to the approving authority to guarantee continuous enjoyment of study leave, including any sponsorship and payment of salary. Today, we don't practice this so much, but because a lot of us are japaring and we are seeing that people will take study leave, yet they won't go to the school or pursue further studies. We are being advised to start enforcing this condition that pertains to the study leave. So very soon, you'll be there, we will write to your school and tell them to give us your transcript, which is your academic report, and then we'll be forwarding it to headquarters. And if they realize that you are not pursuing the program or you are not doing well with your program, it means that we would have to stop your salary, ask you to come back to post. And the unfortunate thing is you will still have to serve a bond depending on the number of years you've spent in school. So if your program was 2 years and 1 year, we ask for your transcript and it's so bad, it's so poor, you don't even meet the grade points that you need to have to pursue the further studies, we would tell you to come back to post. And because you spent 1 year in school enjoying salary, you will now be bonded to serve 2.5 years. Because remember, whatever years or duration you spend for the program, you now have to spend 1.5 years in addition for what? To serve the Ghana Health Service. Continuous payment of salary of an officer on study leave shall depend on good conduct and satisfactory academic performance. I think I've said it, so we don't need to waste much time on it. Now, let us look at the schedule for processing the applications this year. 1, declaration of intention for further studies using the online study leave portal. So we are saying that all interested persons can hop onto the portal, which was opened today, and will be closing on the 16th of October, 2024. I already spoke with your chairman, emphasizing that The study leave doesn't run on a first come, first serve approach. This morning, somebody woke me up as early as I think 7 something with a message that she has visited the portal and it's not open. I understand the anxiety, but let me say this in our local dialect. So, it will be to your own detriment. So let us take our time. You can even apply on the 15th of October, and then you will still do what? Be able to get your application through successfully. Point 2, endorsed declarations of intention forms will be forwarded to the regional director from the 17th to the 21st of October. Now, although it is stated here that 16th October is the last day for you, depending on the administrative plans of your HR or your district director, they may decide to tell you that make sure you are done with your applications on the 10th of October so that you bring it to them. Then they will now do due diligence, go through the pain and the rigor, and know, sometimes they will have to correct some of you, the programs you selected, and inform you. I've once had an enrolled nurse who selected associate membership pediatric, and the system allowed the person to select. But in practicality or in reality, an enrolled nurse with a hack or a knack will never gain what? Admission into the Ghana College of Nurses and Midwives to pursue such a program, because you don't have the requisite qualification, which is what? A diploma. So you can go online and select certain programs, but it doesn't mean that your application will be screened and then it will sail through the screening process because you selected wrong. That is why earlier with the career plan, I said that have knowledge of the requisite qualifications you need to gain admissions for the program. Ghana Health Service only grants you what? The study leave provisional approval, but we don't grant the admission. And the schools that grant the admission have their own cutoff points, have their own screening tools, procedures, and whatnot to select applicants for the programs that they want to pursue. So please, let's take note of that. Now, when it gets to the region, there is also a team or a committee that has been set up. So from the 21st to the 30th of October, they will be shortlisting study leave beneficiaries according to what? The quota. That is why I say for you to be proactive and be ahead of the game, wait for the quota, because even those who are going to select you are going to do that by the quota. So you who don't have the quota, why should you go ahead and select the program? So please, I will entreat all of us again, until you see the quota that will guide you, do not select a course of study and submit your application. Because the same people who will now be shortlisting you will use the same quota. So it is in your best interest and an advantage when you do what? You have the quota before selecting. 4, submission of recommended staff list on the online portal, and then hard copies will be forwarded to the Director of Human Resources for validation. And this will take place from the 1st to the 8th of November, 2024. Some of us will go online and then we will do it. Once we've submitted, we think that is all. We don't print, we don't endorse the form, we don't submit to our HR. Now, what you have done is, yes, you have submitted the online, but regional needs your hard copy for screening and onward submission to what? To headquarters. So you realize that although you've done your application or successfully completed your application online, because you didn't submit your hard copy, there is no document for you to go through the screening process and when you qualify, onward submission to headquarters. So please make sure whichever date or whatever deadline your HR gives to you, you follow suit and get your document to their office. After it has gotten through the screening process at the regional level, and it is forwarded to Director Human Resource in Accra headquarters, They are going to review and validate the staff that has been recommended at the regional level. So we see the kind of scrutiny or screening processes and criteria our applications go through. So Director Human Resource will now be validating every application that comes to his office that were recommended at the regional level to check if they really followed what the guidelines or through due processes. That will be done from the 11th to the 22nd of November 2024. So when they are satisfied with this screening at the headquarters level by Director Human Resource, then they will now, he will now, being the Director, Esquire Obriyeboa, Director for Human Resources, Ghana Health Service, he is going to forward that recommended list to Director General for final approval. And when approval is granted, then we see the letter that usually comes out to say that X and Y have been granted was provisional study leave, pending that they gain admission to pursue further studies. So this is the schedule for the processes that our applications will be going through. And I must say that most of these days are tentative. They are not fixed. So they are just to guide administrative proceedings. So it may be that although we are seeing that from 25th of November to 6th December, we are supposed to get back and say that I have gained approval, I didn't gain approval. However, it may take us into next year before we get a letter from headquarters. So the dates we see here, besides the 16th to the 16th September to 16th October, that the portal will be opened for applications. All the other dates are tentative dates, so let's take note. Now, what is the criteria to be used to determine study leave quotas? I've been making mention of quota. And very soon the quota will come, we will see it. A lot of us have seen it. It comes out and you see that this particular program, they say they are looking for only 11 people in Central Region. This particular program, we are only looking for 15 people in Central Region. So there are numbers attached or matched to every and any kind of course of study or the program you want to pursue. So one, for those of us who would want to pursue the associate membership, the membership and the fellowship at the Ghana College of Nurses and Midwives, this is what happens. It is not the service that determines the number of people who will pursue the program. Rather, it is the college that says that for us to run peri-operative nursing membership, we are going to have a class of 30. And because of we are going to have a class of 30 and it's limited in number, we will grant Northern Region 6, Central Region 9, Bronx Ahafo 1. Sorry, now it's even Ahafo 1, Bono 2, Bono East 3. That is how it goes. So it has nothing to do with Director General or Regional Director. So if you see that they say peri-operative nursing membership is 3, don't think your HR or Director General is wicked. Your doors be Ghana Health Service staff, yes, Ekumfi, yes, and I'm the quota 3 per. No, it is the school that is running the program that has given the number that they want to take from the region. Now, with the quota for the other programs like BSc Nursing, Diploma Nursing, BSc Health Promotion, and the whatnot, those ones are determined by a study leave allocation model. And they use the staffing norms, the staffing gap, the population of your district, and the workload of your district. If you ask your health information officer, they will be able to tell you what the workload of your district or where you serve. So this is how it works. The staffing norms is an establishment of the particular number of staff and the categories you need in a health center, in a CHIPS compound, in a district hospital, regional hospital, and the whatnot. So we know that in any health center, maybe we need 15 enrolled nurses. We need 30 professional, which would be the registered general nurses. We need 15 of public health nurses. It has already been established. So if we already have 14, it means that we only need what? 1. Therefore, the quota that will come will say that we only need 1 person to pursue this program. And it means that every person who is eligible will now have to fight for what? That 1 particular slot. If we have 15 midwives, but our district needs only 20 midwives, or central region needs only 20 midwives, but we have 50 midwives, it means that our quota will come for what? 5 midwives. Because if we exceed and now have 23 midwives, the 3 additional midwives will not be doing any job. And in labor economics, it is not what efficient way of managing resources. So please bear with the service. It may not be a language you understand. But then if your bed capacity is 15, do you admit 30 people? Can I please get the feedback to that question? If your bed capacity is 15, can you admit 30 people?
No, please.
Hello? Exactly.
No, please.
So if the service, exactly, thank you very much. So if the service needs 50 general nurses, and as we are speaking, we have 40, it means that we only have room for 10. And that is why they will bring and say the quota is only accepting 10 people, and everybody has to fight for that 10. So the number keeps changing per the staffing needs that the region requires. Thank you very much. Now, a guideline again, we are saying that regions are required to constitute committees. This one I've already spoken about, for the selection of steady leave beneficiaries based on what? The quota. So if they have been able to establish that we only need 10 additional midwives in central region and the quota is 10, it means that even the committee should be guided by what? The same quota. They can't select 15 people. They have to select what? The 10. And I say we should take the pain and then wait for the quota, because the quota sometimes tell you how many people they are willing to let go for regular or for sandwich programs. So sometimes you see that BSc regular is 15. BSc sandwich part is maybe 60. Then it will be wise and prudent of you that because the numbers for the sandwich is larger, go for that one. Because when you go for the smaller one, which is 15 and regular, if 200 people apply, all the 200 of you will now be fighting for what? The 15 slot. And that one will be to your own disadvantage, because maybe you just served 5 years, you just served 6 years, but somebody has served 14 years, 12 years, 9 years. Please, am I making some sense with that? So let us wait and be guided what? By the quota. So while we quota now should be their numbers, no doors or what, then do what? Join them there. Because if the number is plenty, then it means that even if you also cry, the ratio or my chances of getting it, the probability now becomes higher compared to me chasing a quota that has what? The least number. The guideline below should be used together with the criteria regions may devise based on their peculiar regional needs for the selection of what? The beneficiaries. So despite the fact that all of you have copies, and I know it was disseminated somewhere last week on the guidelines, they have given some room for the regional director and the committee to also come up with their sub criteria. So you see, it's just like those of you at OPD, when you do your triaging, there are certain signs you look out for before you say somebody is red, somebody is green. So they also have what? A selection tool that they're also going to look at. And they have the bonus, or they've been given the privilege and mandate area they would want to use for a particular program. So please, let's be guided. Now, deprived district incentives. As part of the Ghana Health Service non-financial incentive for staff working in Ghana Health Service designated deprived districts. And for those of us who have been on the call for a while, we all know that in our region, Ekumfi is not a deprived district. We have Upper Dentra, East and West. We have Asin North and South, and Trifuhima and Lower Dentra. Those are the 5 districts that are deemed to be deprived in Central region. We are saying that those people in deprived districts, staff in these areas are required to work a year less than the minimum years required to be eligible for further studies. And this time, they are going to use the HRIMS. The HRIMS is an online web-based information system that the HRs use. And it is the same portal that we are being given a portion of it, or should I say, a phase of it for us to apply or tender in our applications for study leave. So you will realize that when you go on there and then you register, the first thing they are going to demand is your staff ID. When you key your staff ID and submit, some details of your profile will pop up: your date of birth, your name, your current grade, your current district, facility you work. Please, if you go through that and realize any of the information is not accurate, kindly just get off the portal or screenshot it as for evidence, and then call or visit your HR and tell them so that they correct those informations for you, because it can go against you. You may have been an SSN, senior staff nurse, senior midwife, senior staff midwife, or whatever grade today, but because you went for the first half promotion and your documents just came, your HR might not have updated your records. So on the system, you will still submit your application as a staff midwife, as a staff nurse, and that one will go against you, because those people who are showing senior and you are showing staff, they will just deem it as Oba and Chair. So please, maybe your age on there is showing 55, by yourself you are just 45. It means that if you select a program that is going to go beyond 1 year, automatically you'll be what? You'll be taken out. Unless that program, nobody else selects it, and then they now recommend you for Director General, adding a note that although they want somebody to pursue that program, nobody selected it, and you being the only applicant, you are about 50 years, and then Director General may consider you and then do what? So your age, your current grade, where you serve, and all those things, they matter. Please, they matter. I'm laying emphasis on that because that can be the reason why somebody is denied what? Approval. Now, your choice of study of the program. Any staff who wishes to pursue further studies with pay shall have no opportunity to select programs outside those approved for the various professions. So once you want to enjoy study leave with pay, as I mentioned earlier, the system now, the moment you hop on it and decide to choose your program, they have already tailored the kind of programs that the service would want you to pursue. In HR, we call that career management. They're already managing your career path. So what they've done is to say that if somebody is a male, you would now have to admit the person in a male ward. You don't admit the person in a female ward. If somebody is a child, you don't admit the person in male ward. You admit the person what? In the pediatric. So it is same. They look at your current program, they look at what you can do, and they've tailored it. So if you see that your desired program is not in the list, quickly contact your HR. Maybe it's an issue. If it is not an issue, he or she will give you feedback and say that you cannot pursue the program, or you can't find it in your list because of X and Y and Z. Because he or she will be contacting region, and there's a person who has been, his office has been designated to do what? To cater for these issues. So you, the staff, may not be able to contact them, but your HR can do that on your behalf. Or there is also an interface on the system, complaint hub. You can click on the complaint hub and then you put in your complaints to say that I have the desire to pursue this program. However, I can't find it in my list. and then they will give you feedback in due time. Where a staff interest lies in a program other than those approved, other funding opportunities outside the service may be explored. So maybe you attend the Church of Pentecost or you belong to Association X or Y, and then you would want to pursue a particular program, but then you can't find it. And the service also says that they are not willing to help you pursue that program with pay. This one leaves you only with the option of what? Study leave without pay. So you have to find other additional funding opportunities. When you secure it, when your admission is in, you attach that note or letter that speaks to your funding opportunity. You add it to your admission letter, write a letter to the regional health director stating that you have gained admission for this program and this is a sponsorship, so you would want to pursue it. And when they consider and you are eligible, they would now approve you for study leave without pay. Now, study leave quotas. We are saying that all programs have their corresponding quotas, and regions are strongly advised. You realize that just in one document, they keep on laying emphasis on it, that all programs have their corresponding quotas, and then the regions are strongly advised to be guided by these quotas in selecting the process. The service considered various factors in arriving at these quotas, and I've explained some to you. If you have a bed capacity of 15, you don't go admitting 30 people. So if they know that central region, per our workload and our population, you know, we have the nurse patient ratio and all those things. So they put that into consideration and realize that it means that we need X number of people. So if you have Y, what is the difference between X and Y? If it is 30, they bring it up as the quota. Now, the quota for diploma midwifery, diploma community health nursing, and diploma general nursing cover staff who are pursuing them as either post-basic or direct. So when you see that there is diploma midwifery, diploma community health nursing, diploma general, it means that whether you want to consider it as a post-basic or pursue it as a direct person. When we say direct, I don't think because this program is organized by Grnma, I may have health assistance on the program or on the call. So it means all of us are either enrolled community health nurses and then registered nurses upwards. So it means that we would all now be pursuing this program if you are a certificate holder as a post-basic and not direct. Special allocations have been made for staff working in deprived districts again. So you will find out that, or when you now see the quota, you realize that there is a portion that will say BSc nursing midwifery, into brackets, deprived. When you see that number, don't target it because you and I who are in Ekumfi, we are not what? Deprived. It means that it belongs to the 5 districts who are in central region, not you. These quotas are exclusively for staff working in the locations that are officially designated as that. And then they can pursue this program on a regular, full-time, or any other mode that they want to. BSc nursing, midwifery, part-time, sandwich, and weekend. They say that as much as possible, staff in non-deprived districts shall be considered for flexible modes of pursuing the above program. So you and I that we are in Ekumfi, if we are eyeing for BSc nursing, BSc public health nurse, BSc midwifery, stick to the quota of what? Part-time, sandwich, and weekend. Don't go and join the deprived queue. It won't help you. It means that when you still go ahead and join the deprived queue, your chances of what? Securing approval is what? Very, 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 very small. If you want your chances to increase, then they are advising you that join the queue for what? So it is therefore advised that in selecting beneficiaries for this quotas, due consideration should be given to those who are by virtue of their location who easily access these programs on part-time, weekend, and in some cases, sandwich basis. BSc, full-time or regular. This quota is for what? Registered nurses and midwives working in deprived districts. There is a know that it is not for you. It's for what? The deprived districts. It is only when they realize that a lot of people in the deprived districts is more room, then perhaps they may now consider the people in non-deprived districts for the allocation or quota that was made for what? Our sisters and brothers in the deprived districts. So in selecting staff for these quotas, it is strongly advised again that staff in remote looks the people in these 5 districts are ahead of those difficult for them to go for the moods of what quota for certificate nurses for the degree nurse, what our certificate nurses, which is our enrolled degree programs. And it is part of the efforts that the service wants to bridge the existing with professional or auxiliary nursing staffing situation. The service has realized over a time that there are a lot of certificate, as the layperson will call it, certificate nurses, which is the nurse assistant preventive and the nurse assistant clinicals. So in order to bridge the gap between the number of enrolled nurses and community health nurses we have in the system and the professional ones, let us give them a separate quota. So if you are listening to me on this call and you are an enrolled nurse, whether from senior enrolled nurse to superintendent or senior community health nurse to superintendent, it means that there will be a special quota for you. So you realize that there are quota for all of us may be nurses and midwives, but then they've grouped the quotas into different classifications. So they are for those that are for enrolled nurses and community health nurses. There are those that are for registered nurses, which is the diploma people. And there are those that are for those who are also in the deprived areas. When you know this, it guides you in selecting your program. Now, this is according to last year. These are some recommended courses for community health nurses and enrolled nurses. So you can already see it on your screen if it is visible. Our community health nurses can apply for a BSc community health nursing, BSc public health nursing, midwifery, physician assistantship, diploma midwifery, diploma CHN, diploma community mental health, diploma health promotion, diploma nutrition. The list is not exhaustive. As I mentioned earlier, now because we are online, when you hop onto the portal to select your program, any program that you can select or is recommended for you is tailored already on the system. So the moment you click your program, you can take the pen and read through all the programs that are available for you to choose. And I know you will find these programs there. Enrolled nurses, we have BSc General Nursing, BSc Midwifery, BSc Physician Assistantship, Diploma Midwifery, Diploma General Nursing, Diploma Community Mental Health, Diploma Health Promotion. You realize something like nutrition is not there. But like I'm saying, this was for last year. We've not had a document on this for this year because it is already in the system. So there is no need to come up with another separate document. The moment you hop onto the portal, every kind of course that has been recommended for you will be shown on your screen. Courses that require conversion after further studies. Now we've all been hearing upgrading and conversion. Per definition of our policies, upgrading will mean that if an officer pursues further studies, that is in line with their current job class. So if I'm an enrolled nurse and I go to pursue general nurse, because it is within my job health nurse, and I go to pursue midwifery, I am moving from the nursing class to the midwifery class. So that one becomes what? A conversion. Let's have that at the back of our mind while we discuss this particular slide. So when it becomes necessary for any staff to pursue a course that necessitates what? Conversion to another occupational class, they are going to consider your present grade and the salary of the staff against the grade and the salary of the new grade of which the person will be placed upon. This will ensure that staff are not disadvantaged after a period of further studies on account of conversion. Let's see what that means to our salaries. Let's look at the superintendent community health nurse. This person currently is on a salary grade of 16H. But assume a principal community health nurse, which is the same grade level for a principal enrolled nurse, is a 14H. So let's say now I'm tired of nursing. I want to go and pursue catering. I have a certificate in nursing, right? And in going to pursue catering officer, it will mean that I'll have to have an HND, probably in hospitality management or any other equivalent qualification. While you've gone to school for 2 years, 3 years to study hospitality management, you come back and then now your new grade will be 14L. Meanwhile, you've gone to school for 3 years. You've gone to pay school fees. You've gone through the rigor of studying, assignment, and all those things. Meanwhile, your new grade salary is what? 14L. Maybe you say, I want to move into dental technology. That is what? A diploma grade in what? Dental technology. So you become a dental technician, hopefully, upon completion of your program. 15H is what you'll be starting from. So it means that you are at what? At a disadvantage. Meanwhile, you pursued further study, and that qualification is higher than what you have. So you are going to study an HND program. That is true. You are going to spend 3 years in school. That is true. But then you come back taking what? A lesser salary, because you are now going to climb the ladder of your new grade again before you get to the top. Just like an enrolled nurse will start from 12L, I believe, and then go up. A staff nurse or midwife will start at 15H and climb. It's the same. So you realize that although now you have additional qualification, your salary is lesser than before. So don't go ahead and select such programs, because they will be considering it. And due to the fact that you'll be at a disadvantage, they may not approve it, because it will be to your own harm or detriment. Courses like technical officer, lab pretendant, and you say, I'm tired of nursing, I want to move into lab. No problem. But then it means that you will be starting at 15H. Same for our people who have crossed from the diploma level to a nursing officer level. So I've climbed through the ranks. It has taken me 8 years to become a nursing officer. Maybe I'm even in my 9th year, then I'm a nursing officer. Then I want to go and pursue physiotherapy, degree in physiotherapy. Yes, your current grade is a diploma. You still have a diploma, and you want to do a degree, and you are thinking, because a degree is higher than a diploma, I should earn more. But already your nursing officer within the service, although you have a diploma, is what? A degree grade. And for that matter, its equivalent salary grade is 18L. So Ubeko school now by 3 years, 2 years, whatever years that your course of study demands, you will come back and you realize that you are at a disadvantage, because what? You are still going back to your 18L. So it's almost like you went in a circle. Same for physician assistant, same for radiographer, same for a public health officer. So please let us be guided in this regard. Requirements for membership program at the Ghana College of Nurses and Midwives. Nurses and midwives intending to pursue any of the membership programs are required to have the requisite qualifications and should not be on a grade below what nursing officer. Many a times you may be a senior staff nurse, senior staff midwife, and you know, for you to qualify for a membership with the school, you ought to have a degree. So maybe you rush to CAF or any of these schools, and then you were able to secure a degree in your pocket, which is good. It has added up to your knowledge and to your personal esteem and all that. But within the service, we are saying that if you are not a nursing officer on grade, not that if you don't have a degree, if you are not a nursing officer, don't apply for a membership. Now, some of us don't really get the difference. There is the associate membership, which usually takes a period of 1 year. And then there's the membership, which sometimes may take 2 or 3 years, depending on the qualification you have to apply. So we are not saying the associate membership. We are saying membership, which will now make you the nurse specialist. If you go for the associate membership, you become a nursing officer. You don't become a nurse specialist. This is the little difference that most of us are not aware. The associate membership is 1 year. And usually when you're on a diploma grade and you do that, we upgrade or convert you to a nursing officer. Then we put into bracket pediatric, into bracket neonate, into bracket perioperative. We put those things into bracket. But then when you go for the membership, which is you must have been on a degree grade of the nursing officer and above, you come back and we'll call you nurse specialist into bracket pediatric, nurse specialist into bracket neonatal. So that is the difference. So if you have not secured a degree or you are not a nursing officer, then possibly you would now have to apply for the associate membership and not the membership. Because Okoha apply for the membership, you will not be granted what? Approval. The screening process will catch up with you. And then you find out that your document has been what? Exempted or taken out of the ones that will be recommended to headquarters. So please, let us take note of this. Now, those who were already on the grade of nursing or midwifery officer before obtaining the requisite first degree are required to serve for a minimum of 3 years from the date of obtaining the certificates to become eligible for what? Consideration. We all know that you may enter the service with a diploma as a staff nurse. Then you serve 8 years. You become a nursing officer, but you may not have a degree. Yet you are a nursing officer. So now, if you are a nursing officer, when you became a nursing officer, you didn't become a nursing officer either through conversion or upgrading. You became a nursing officer by what? Promotion, which is 8 years in the service. Then what you ought to do is make sure that whenever you obtained your degree was 3 years ago. So it means that if you obtained your degree in 2023 and you want to go for a membership, you will not be what? Considered. If you obtained your BSc degree in 2022, you will not be considered for what? A membership program, although you have your degree. But this is when you got your degree after you were promoted to a nursing officer. That is why even to date, it is expected that those who obtain a degree after the nursing officer grade still serve 5 years before they become SNOs or SMOs. Because you already got into the grade before getting the money. Sorry, before getting the requisite qualification. So you're already an NO and you have a degree. It means nothing else what can be done for you. So please, I will be sharing the slides after the presentation with Chairman so that you can be going through to guide you. Now, staff on certificate and diploma grades applying for master's program. It is same here. Staff who have certificates, some of us have diploma, we've done our pocket degree. And then because we are very ambitious, we would want to pursue an MSc or an MPhil in nursing or whatever program of our choice. But what they are saying here is, or what the policy is saying is, staff who are on certificate or diploma grades but are desirous of pursuing masters or postgraduate programs following the acquisition of a bachelor's degree, you are first to apply for what? Upgrading or conversion. With that, your degree you have, so that you can now serve the required minimum number of years before they can consider you for your master's. So you may have your master's, you may have your degree with you, what we normally call a pocket degree, but you are still a diploma person, you are still a certificate person with the system, you are still an enrolled nurse, you are still a community health nurse. you are still a staff, senior staff midwife or senior staff nurse. If you apply for a master's, it means that they are not going to grant you the approval. So first, what do? Write a letter, inform the service that I have what? And a bachelor's degree, so and so, and I would want you to do what? Consider me for upgrading or conversion. It is after they've done that, you've served some number of years before you can be considered for a master's program. To draw down the curtains, these are, I've also shared this with Chairman already. These are steps that will guide you in assessing and then declaring your intention on the portal. So you would first have to go to your browser and then you type in this text. Or you can, I think the link already is on your various platforms. So when you click on it, it's going to take you straight into your browser. I have observed a number of times that people want to use the Google app, not the browser. Make sure you are using a browser. If it's Google Chrome, if it's your Internet Explorer or whatever. I don't mean use a laptop, but there's a difference between that Google app that most of us like using and the Google Chrome browser. They are not different. They are not the same. So make sure you are using the browser. I say this because there are some challenges or difficulties you will encounter when you use the Google app and not the browser. This web page works well when you are using a browser. So please use the browser so that you'll be able to see the screen as you should see. And then all the things that you are supposed to take note of, you'll be able to. Because there are some buttons or panels that will not show when you are not using the browser. First thing, when you hop on it, you would have to click the register button. You are going to see a login interface. Because you've not registered, you don't have any login details. So first, you have to register. When you click on register, your staff ID, there's going to be an interface where you'd have to put in your staff ID or your employee number. So you put in your employee number. Another page will pop up. And as I mentioned earlier, it's going to tell you your name, your date of birth will be there, your current grade will be there, the current facility will be there. Then it's going to request you to enter a valid email address and password. Now, this is the thing. Most of us are thinking because they are demanding email, they are going to send us a message in our emails, of which when we forget our passwords, we can go there and do correct password. That is not how our system works. So I normally tell people that be conscious of the email you are typing. There have been several cases where, per se, you are going to type in kwameboating@gmail.com. Because you are in a rush, you type in Kwame, then you omit your, so it becomes a Kwame OA, then the thing continues @gmail.com. That is what you use to register your account. Now, because in your head, you were thinking Kwame Boateng, you may think that is your valid login details. So you will now hop onto the system to log in and then declare your intention. And they tell you that your email address is not in the system or cannot be accessed. So please make sure you are typing your email address that you intend to use and save for your password. I would advise that you get a notepad, or today we are in a digital world, your phones have notepads and all that on it. Save it somewhere so that all the time you can go and then do what? Access it. Don't do we like to do very often, save logins. Don't do that. There are a couple of times people do the save login and they've made a mistake. So when now you go and then key the actual email on your system, it won't allow you. But then you use another device and then it sails through. So please don't go and do the safe password. Write it somewhere. Then there is also a place where you can lodge a complaint, or you see your HR if your information is what? Inaccurate. So when you see that your information is inaccurate, don't go ahead and put in your email and password to register your account. Screenshot the information you are seeing that is inaccurate, and then go and see your HR. I will say your HR first because that is faster. The complaint hub will take a while before the designated officers will respond. And maybe how they will see and respond, their literature may not be sound or understanding enough for you. But then when you go to your HR, they will be able to fix the issue fast for you. Once every information you have on there is accurate, then you click to submit. So this is when you are now what? You have successfully registered to declare your intention. That is phase 1. When you are done with that, it is going to take you back to the home page where you'll be requested to log in with the email and password you just created. So you log in and then it will take you to the interface to declare your intention. You are supposed to fill all the required fields, including the program you intend to pursue. And we are saying that you can use the course dictionary, which you will find on the portal, to view programs you can pursue per your grade. So this is a way to guide you to know the kind of courses the service is recommending for each and every individual. So click on the course dictionary and every kind of course that you can pursue per your grade will show there. So that you don't go ahead and choose a course that has not been recommended for your grade. Automatically, you disqualify yourself. Although you will submit, although you will sign and then give it to your HR, thinking that you are part of the race, you have been disqualified even before what? The gun is shot. So please pay attention to this. Now, when you have duly filled your form online, you click on the submit button. Another page is pop up, and they are going to ask you to review and print your declaration of intention form. At this stage, if you realize there is an issue, they are only asking you to review. It means that you can do what? You can make correction. Some of us, we are always doing things in haste. But what you need to realize is speed is as much as important as your direction. If you are doing the wrong things fast, you're only putting yourself what? In harm. So please make sure you are doing the right things slowly. That is effectiveness. So review it as the computer will be telling you. Review the thing. Don't say that I'm so confident that I keyed in the right things the first time, so I won't review, I will submit. Then usually after submitting and printing, some are patient enough to go through. Some won't even bother to go through. Then they just bring it for the HR. So please make sure you review your application. Make sure it is exactly what you want it to say. Before you submit, you finally print, you sign and submit your HR so that your HR can do what? The further processing. I will end my presentation here. I think Chairman can take over. We tackle them.